Hello, it is me back again. For those of you that haven't seen me before, hello, welcome. For those that have seen me before, you'll notice that this is kind of like a new setup. Moved house, so therefore moved room because it's a room in a different house. But I just wanted to talk about this kind of topic, which kind of is quite near and dear to me, at least the overarching ideas about struggling. See, I've struggled with many different things in many different ways. Even making this video, I have struggled. I wrote a script, I didn't know how to start it, I didn't know what keys to press on my keyboard that would make the video as good as humanly possible. I then eventually wrote a 2-3 paragraph long rant about how our frictionless modern society has done awful things for us and our abilities as individuals, but that wasn't relevant or helpful. So here we are. That struggling to write this video, to do so much and to delete it and to, struggle, it wasn't fun, and struggling itself isn't fun. Think of all the times where I've had hardship, heartbreak, just pain, discomfort, really just tough times mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. They're not fun. And no one wants to struggle. But the reality is, what we want and what we actually need tend to be completely polar opposite things anyway. I truly believe that struggling, and I'm going to put that in air quotes, struggling, is a good thing. But the issue is we use a word that is not helpful. It's not empowering. The word struggling, it's difficulty. It is not working out, in the sense that things that you're trying to do aren't working out. The ways that you want things to go aren't going your way. You're struggling financially, or you're struggling physically or spiritually, emotionally, mentally, whatever way you are struggling, things are not going your way. However, the thing is, how we paint things and the words that we use can completely reframe our current situation or past situations. It's how we paint the picture itself that defines its meaning. And instead of thinking to yourself, I am struggling, I think we need to constantly reframe it in our minds to, I am growing. And it's not for the fact of, reframe it and everything will be better. No, it will still kind of suck. Like, the thing that you are currently going through is not going to change because of how you reframe it. However, how you reframe it will change how you perceive it. Instead of it being something that happens to you, it is now something that happens for you. It is happening for you and for your growth. If we take human beings, for example, at younger years, going through, puberty and just growth in general, you have what are called growing pains. You literally feel physical discomfort and pain because your physical body is growing. And who is to say that the stuff that we are going through now, the physical pain, the emotional pain, the spiritual pain, the mental pain, the discomfort, whatever words you want to use, who's to say that that in of itself is not the growing pains for growth that is in a non-physical way? The quote by Napoleon Hill sticks out to me, especially in this case. Every adversity, every failure, every heartbreak carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That is to say that from this pain, we have gained something from it. The phrase no pain, no gain is one that a lot of people overlook, and it's probably one that's oversaid, but it is the reality. If there is no form of discomfort, no pain, no kind of suffering in some degree, there'll be no growth, because you have not experienced something that is outside of your current comfort zone that will allow you to grow as an individual. I think struggling, and thus on the other side of the same coin, growing, is genuine proof of your tenacity, is proof of your unwillingness to quit, and you are in it, you are experiencing it. And yes, you may have fight, flight, or freeze. You may procrastinate, you may try and avoid it, you may go to escapism, we've all been there. The thing is, whatever is happening to us currently, right now, is something that we need. It is not something we want, it is not something enjoyable. However, every time we do something that is uncomfortable, every single time we do something that makes us feel like we're just pushing out of our comfort zone, or maybe even really far from our comfort zone, we know that that is good for us. We know that eating healthy is harder than eating a cheesecake, yet we know that it is better for us. What we want and what we need are complete opposites. What you are currently experiencing is called a chrysalis moment. It's kind of like a butterfly, or before a butterfly. So a caterpillar goes into its cocoon and it turns into a butterfly and it flies away. Just imagine that's a butterfly flying away. And that moment in the cocoon, in the chrysalis, if it's a moth, that is stagnation, that is chaos, that is discomfort, that is pain, that is suffering. I can't imagine a little tiny caterpillar being in that cocoon and then turning into a beautiful butterfly. I can't imagine that being a painless and completely comfortable experience. And this is the exact same thing with us. This chrysalis moment you need to go through at its natural pace. You cannot rush it. It's like if you tried to hatch this caterpillar out of its cocoon, the moth larva out of the chrysalis before it's ready to hatch. What you will end up doing is basically killing it. You will leave it deformed, not fully transformed. You will try to rush the process. And although this process does suck, it's happening for the greater benefit of the organism, of the being, of you. This chrysalis moment that you're going through, this pain, this suffering, this introspection, this reflection, whether it be from the outside world or the internal world, it's for you. I think during these times of struggling, we need to be kind to ourselves as well. It's not just about, oh man, I messed up here, I messed up there, I did this, I did that. We tend to be constantly looking at the score, starting the day at 100, and everything we do wrong takes away from that score. Every time we eat a bad meal, we don't get up at the right time, we don't work out, that's taking it down. When in reality, we always start on 0. Every single day is a clean slate, and we start, and we then get to make the choice of what we do that will either increase that score as we go along, or leave it as it is, or decrease that score. A quote that often comes to mind when it's kind of about any topic really, because I just think it's so great, is that the mind is the window in which you see the world. I'll say that again. The mind is the window in which you see the world. If you view the world in your mind as a bad place, that's all you're going to see. Confirmation bias. If you view your life as a mess, you're a failure, this and that, that's all you will see. I, for one, was held 2 years back in education. I failed sixth form, final year. So I was 18 at the time, failed that, so then I had to stay back a year. And then also I didn't do well enough on the year after that, so I had to do a foundation year at university. So I was 2 years behind my peers. However, I don't view that as a failure. I view that, although at the time it was very painful, although at the time I wish I'd done this, wish I'd done that, but I couldn't change the past. I was looking back on it, and I still am, grateful that it happened, because it taught me things. It taught me about failure. It taught me about belief in self, pushing yourself, putting in effort, actually somewhat having some level of confidence. Now granted, over the past 3 and 4 years, that's just been up and down, but that's kind of the roller coaster of life. But what I'm trying to say is, although now you may not believe it to be happening for you, in the future when you look back on it, you can see, yes, that was a chrysalis moment. That Chris Miracle guy on YouTube, he was spitting facts. He's a smart fella, even though he got held back 2 years at school. So I would like to say, remember, this is a chrysalis moment. Your suffering, or actually your growth, I'm not going to use quotation marks for that, your suffering, or let's reframe that to your growth, is going to be uncomfortable. Growing pains. This is the growing pains, this is the chrysalis moment. Please be kind to yourself, and if ever you feel like you can't deal with it, I think it's a lot more important to kind of sit, at least for me, to sit and reflect and think to yourself, okay, why can't I deal with this? Why can't I do that? Why can't I do this? Why does this hurt so much? What am I avoiding? And then, what do you want to do? And then look for the polar opposite of what you need to do, if you're anything like me. Wish you all the best. Thumbs up from Englishman. I have now made another video after 5 months, so let's go. Also, based Berserk hoodie, which is great. Like and subscribe, and comment down below what your least favourite moment was. No. Oh well, Don's probably going to edit this all out anyway, or not. Alright, take care.